This is the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Dory Stewart.
Welcome back to another episode of the FXBG Neighbors Podcast, where we share the stories of our favorite local brands. I'm excited to introduce you to my guest today. We've got Dalton Okolo with 1108 Media. Dalton, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Dory.
Well, I'm excited to learn more about you and your business. So let's start there. What is 1108 Media?
Yeah, thank you. So 1108 Media is a media production boutique based out of Fredericksburg, Virginia. I myself am a filmmaker and a media producer. So I guess I can kind of start from the beginning if that's helpful. I went to Radford University. I kind of got involved in media production through the sports team. So we would go and make feature pieces for different athletes. And I just got really excited by going interviewing and grabbing a testimonial, then creating kind of a narrative from the B-roll and the testimonial being combined. And so when I got out of college, I just wanted to continue pursuing that. And so I worked with the Washington Post and with the Baltimore Sun doing feature pieces for them. Eventually got hired on at Freddie Mac as a full-time media producer. Did that for about 7 years, which kind of gave me a understanding of like client side and what clients would expect from high-fidelity media. And then in 2024, I went out on my own for 1108.
Nice. So walk me through some of the services that you offer and who are your ideal clients?
Oh, good question. So we try to be kind of open to any sort of media production, whether it's, podcasts, videos, photos, and kind of anything in between. If you want to do headshots, we have corporate events, we'll cover the entire gambit. And our goal really is to try to work with, high-end clients, corporate media, but also mom and pop places. We want to be as malleable as possible at our price point. So if you don't have a ton of money, we can, scale down and do a singular group, just myself. But if you do have more of a budget and you kind of have broader campaigns that you want to accomplish, we can also accommodate that. And so we really want to just be a media production boutique that kind of works for everyone.
Amazing. So a business that is listening right now and is thinking, man, I could really use some video in my marketing, they can contact you and you could kind of customize to whatever that business needs.
Absolutely. Like whatever your budget is, we want to help you find high fidelity media for you. And so, if it's headshots, if it's like you said, like a website video or event coverage, we can be there for you. And, whatever budget you're at, we want to help you meet it.
Amazing. So it's photography and video.
Photography, video, audio production, like I said, if you want to do podcasts.
Yeah. Amazing. I love it. So tell me, do you find that there are any myths or misconceptions that you hear about what you do?
Ooh, well, I think it's like with everything, people think your job is easier than it is. I think it's sometimes with video, it can feel like magic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a myth or anything like that. I think it's just more one of those things where you sometimes the thing you deliver can seem like, how do I put this? It can seem much easier to achieve when you deliver it in an efficient manner. Whether it's like a good photo or a good video, it can feel like, okay, well, can you just change the music is a thing editors hear a lot that they freak out about. It's like, yes, I can change the music. That's like now a 3-day process. It's, I think it's really just kind of like the work that goes in on the back end is probably the biggest misconception where it's not just, take a picture, hand over the picture. It is take a picture, edit the picture, make sure the client, it's in the edit style that the client likes, and then deliver the picture. So I guess it's kind of the workflow would be the biggest misconception.
Kind of like both a compliment and a frustration, because
Yes.
It's a compliment if it looks and feels effortless, then you did a really great job. But I can see that a lot of business owners probably have no idea how much time and energy and effort goes into creating something to make it look so effortless.
Yeah, and I think it's, like a chef or like a mechanic, right? Like I just want them to fix my car. I just want them to make me a nice meal. But like there's a ton that goes into it. And there's a ton of trial and error that they have to get to before getting to the point where they can service me. And I think it's the same thing with media production.
Mm-hmm. So going from working for another business as an employee to starting your own business comes with a lot of challenges. I imagine that was not easy. So tell me, what was something that was a challenge that you've now overcome?
I think it's just getting and retaining clients. When I first got out of Freddie Mac in 2024, very wonderful company, great place to work for. And I think I just kind of had this assumption that because, in the corporate world, you constantly have work coming to you, it's kind of going to be the same in the freelance world. And it is not. I had to do a lot of pro bono work. I had to do a lot of kind of just outreach on my own, figuring out, what it is that people actually want for their businesses. And it differs distinctly from business to business. So I think it's really just trying to find not the right clients, but clients that are going to keep coming and generating consistent business. It's just tough. It's one of those things, you kind of have to figure it out for yourself. And I think I've kind of started to figure it out for myself recently, but I don't know if I have like a strategy. It just seems to be that you keep doing good work, people see it, and then eventually it just turns into a cycle of they see the work, they like the work, and you get hired to do more of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So if someone listening is inspired by you and is thinking they want to start their own business, what advice would you give them?
Obviously chase what you're passionate about, because the things that you're passionate about can get grinded out pretty quickly. But just try to remember why you're doing it in the first place. And if it's money, that's okay too. We've got to all live. But I think it can be one of those things where I do media production not just because it makes me money, but also because I want to make films. It's like a form of self-expression. And so just trying to remember why you did this in the first place is important. And I think just trying to make sure that you're not being grinded out of your passion.
Yeah, I love that. That's such great advice. It gets you through the hard days.
Definitely.
I love that. So clearly you're busy running your business. When you're not working, what are you doing for fun?
I'm still working. I run the local Fredericksburg Film Festival, which we love. We get to bring in international and also local films right here to Fredericksburg. I'm also making a short film in Fredericksburg. We're shooting all over town this weekend. So always staying busy, but I think it's, different forms of media, different ways to kind of interact with it. I love movies myself, so I just kind of want to continuously interact with storytelling any way I can.
Yeah, amazing. Talk to me about the film festival. That's interesting.
Yeah. So this is our third year running. Like I said, we're all over town. This year, I think we have about 71 films from 30 some odd countries playing all over town. 2 Oscar nominees, but also a bunch of local films as well. It's really fun. It's also really affordable. So we try to keep all of our ticket prices relatively low. A lot of the filmmakers come for Q&As afterwards. We got workshops, panels, happy hours. So really, it's a full-fledged film festival all over Fredericksburg.
What a cool thing to have here in Fredericksburg.
Yeah. And we've noticed that the arts community here, which I'm sure is really prevalent and rich, has been a big support and kind of a big boon for us. And we hope to kind of capitalize on that.
I love it. So what is something that you wish the listeners knew about 1108 Media?
I think the biggest thing is that we will just have a conversation with you. It doesn't always have to be a sale. Maybe we could just point you in the right direction. If you just need, media equipment, we can help you point you in the right direction. We just want to be a partner for local businesses. And so if you have a media need, I like to get on calls and just talk through stuff. It doesn't cost you anything. If you have a small budget, that doesn't have to be a barrier. And so I just wish people understood that it does cost a lot of money to make media, but it doesn't have to be a complete socioeconomic barrier. And we want to help break that barrier. That's
good to know. Thank you for that. So if the listeners want to learn more from you, if they want to connect with you, how can they reach you?
Ooh, good question. We have a website, 1108media.com. We're also on Instagram at 1108media. And we're also, the film festival is on Instagram at FXBG Film Festival.
Amazing. Dalton, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast and sharing 1108 Media with us.
Dory, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to fxbgneighborspodcast.com.